All right, everybody. Today is going to be the beginning of a new section of the class. Once again, we've done Google Docs. We've done some work with Google Sheets. Now we're going to do some work with Google Slides. And we don't have as many assignments with Google Slides as what we had with the others, because I think you've probably done a fair amount of Google Slides in your career. But we do have some things we're going to do, and some of it is going to be stuff that you know already, probably. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to work. Today, the assignment is about, I've called it Images with Style. And on Classroom, you'll see that I have posted, there's a help document here, and there are some images that I put a folder full of images here that you can use if you want to. You don't have to. Let me show you, and sorry, I don't have this loaded up already, but I can do it quickly. Let me show you an example of what we're talking about. All right, so here's one that's already done, and I'm not, in the rest of this movie, I'm going to show you some things that I want you to know about doing this assignment, but I'm not going to build the whole thing. First of all, I want you to see that over here on the left-hand side, this has 10 slides, and you're going to have to do that. You're going to have 10 pages or 10 slides, whatever you normally call those. You're going to have 10 of them. All right, here's the next thing I want you to notice. The backgrounds of the slides are not plain white. I am asking you to change the backgrounds today. I think most of you know how to do that, but I'm going to show some things here in a minute that will help you perhaps. Now, the next thing is that every image or every slide has an image on it. And these things that you see here are just a series of what are called macro photos. They're close-ups of things, and that's just what I used. And you can use them too if you want to, but you do not have to use my images. If you would rather go out and get your own, that's fine. You can, you just have to use something that's school appropriate. All right. Now, the other thing that you'll see as I go through this movie is that through this demo is that every one of these images has been styled in some way or another. It has been, something's been added to it. The way the image looks right now is not how it originally looked. It has been altered some in one way or another, and I'm going to show you options on that. All right. So this is an example of one that is already done. Okay. Now also back here I have a help page, and the help page looks like, sorry, it doesn't look like that. It looks like this. And the help page just reminds you of all the things you have to do. You're going to have to, this is going to start from scratch, and you're going to have to build the slides. You have to have 10. You're going to have to change the backgrounds. You cannot have any plain white backgrounds. I don't care what you do with the backgrounds, but they can't be plain white. You're going to have to add the images, an image on every slide. You're going to have to add styling to the images. I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and then you can turn it in once it's all done. Okay, it'll be on your Google Drive when you go to turn it in. All right, so let's get back to here. So the first thing you have to do, and I'm not going to build the whole 10 slide thing in this movie, all right? I'm going to show you what I feel like you need to know. So you need a blank Google Slides presentation. All right, well, I'm going to do it on my drive here. I'll go to New, Slides, blank presentation, but you can do that however you feel like you want to, right? If you know another way to do it, then use your way. That is fine. All right, now, this is where I get into some things that are kind of optional. I've got an untitled presentation, and I'm just going to call this Images, and I'll say Images Demo because, you know, I'm doing a demo. All right, so now I need 10 slides. Well, this plus sign right up here will work. Boink, right? Now, here's the thing. On slide 1, there's these boxes that says click to add title and click to add subtitle. You know what? I don't really want those, but what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use my little 3-dot menu, and you might not have to use the 3-dot menu. I'm zoomed up on my desktop. I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to go to blank. I don't. It's up to you. I don't care, but I don't like those boxes on there. Like this second slide here has boxes on it, so I'm going to go to layout and go to blank, because I just don't want those boxes. All right, now, a fast way to make more slides is Control M on your keyboard. Well, that should work. Control M. for some reason is not working on my keyboard, but I think it will on yours. So I'll just go ahead and do it myself. I'll just use the plus sign. Control M ought to do it. I don't know why it's not. Anyway, on we go. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Boom. All right, so I have a total of 10 slides. Bingo. All right, now the next thing is going to be this. You have to change the background. Right, today you have to change the background. So I'm going to go to background, and then you can use whatever you like here. There's color and there's gradients over here. You could use gradients or just use solid colors. Now here's the thing about this image thing. If you use an image as a background, that does not count as the image that you put on the slide. All right, I don't want you to think that, well, I used an image for the background, so I don't have to put any images on the slide. Not true. Not true. You still would have to put images on the slide. That's part of the assignment. All right, so I'm just going to use a blue color. You'll find I'm kind of a fan of blue. And now this, you could do them all separately. If I just click done, that'll change slide 1, right? But what if I click add to theme? A lot of you are going to know that. You know what that does. If I click add to theme, it changes all 10 of them. And if that's what you would rather do, that's totally fine, right? They could all be the same. They just can't be plain white. And now it's time to get to work on the images, right? We've got our 10 slides set and all the backgrounds are changed. So, and this is where I'm going to show you some options, and I'm not going to do the whole thing. All right, so the demo is almost over. You're going to make it. Okay. So you could stick an image on the page a lot of ways, and a lot of you know this. I could just go to Insert Image, and then I've got all these options over here. If you have something saved on your Google Drive already, you can do it that. If you want to go search for something, you can do that. If you already have a image saved in a folder someplace, you could do this upload thing. So there's a lot of ways you could do it, right? Now here's the thing. If you want to use those images that I posted over here, let's go back over here to Google Classroom for a second. And here's these macros, right? So I'm going to click that, and I'm going to change this to this waffle view here. And so here are all those pictures. I put this on Google Classroom, and so you could use the images if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to, but here's how you would do that if you want to do it. That's not the one I want, sorry. So you would go Insert Image, and you would go to your Drive. Okay, this is if you want to use that collection of pictures that I put on Google Classroom. You don't have to, but you can. So you go to Insert Image and go to Drive, and then over here, on mine it says Shared Drive, but look, there's Bernie. Mine it says Shared Drive, but this would be shared with me, and if you click there, I think you would see that folder, that macros folder, but I'm going to go back to my drive. It doesn't work that way for me, so I'm going to go back to my drive here, and I'm going to switch this to this view. It'll go a little quicker. All right, Business IT and Slides and number 1, and here's my macros right here. So, you would do shared with me, and I think you would see this macros folder. And here they are. So I'll just start with this sun drop. I think you can drag them and drop them. But you can also, like, if you click it, you can do insert or drag it and drop it, however you want to do it, right? All right, I'm going to size that down just a smidge. And it's there. Now, I said the other thing that you have to do to get full credit on this assignment is that you have to style the images somehow. So I'm going to show you some options there. One way that on this assignment, because the question you have to ask is, well, Mr. Arvin, what do you think? What do you mean by style? What counts as style? What's going to get me the points that I'm trying to get on this assignment? Well, one way you could do it is a border. You could add a border to it. I could come along here and say, you know what? I'm going to add an 8-pixel border. And I'm going to make that be black. And, you could do like dotted or dashed borders if you want to. I don't really like dashed borders, so I'm going to go back to solid. That would do it. That would count as style. Yay. Okay. Now, so that one's done. So I'm going to go on to slide number 2. And if you still have this sitting over here, if you have like if you have an images folder sitting over here, all you really have to do is just drag it and drop it, and bingo, you're off to the races. Now, if you don't have an images folder sitting over here, you might have to go to Insert Image and then go get, go search for your picture, or you got to get a picture somehow. And I'm just using this set of macros that I made available to you. All right, so here's another way that you could style it if you want. You could go to Format, Format Options, right here. I don't really want to do that. Format and Format Options, all right? So I'm going to click that, and then you get this panel that pops up over here on the side that had, now things like size and rotation and position, that's not really styling, all right? That's just like where it is on the slide and how big it is, and that's not what I mean by style. That's part of what I'm trying to communicate to you here is what do you mean by style? Well, this would work. Recolor would work. Look, if I go, it says no recolor, and I say, let's do that. Boom. Oh, wow, that looks a lot different than it did a minute ago. So that would work as styling. Let's go on to slide number 3, and if I close that, I think I'll have my pictures back here. So I'm going to go, I'll just pull over this cactus picture, and I'm going to make it bigger. So the first thing is you got to put the picture on the slide, and then you have to style it somehow. And again, what do you mean by styling? Well, borders are fine. If you want to just like add a border around the picture, that would count. Or you could do these format options here. And this time I won't do recolor. This time I'll do like drop shadow, right? And on drop shadow, you can play with things like distance and angle, and blur, and opacity. And so I have a shadow. That would count as style, right? Let's go to slide 4, and I'm going to close these format options, and I'll pull out another picture, boom, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm almost done on the demo, so again, nobody's going to die. So I'm going to go to Format and go to Format Options, and I want to bring that back up, and I'm going to close Drop Shadow. And again, this is where you can get a little bit creative, right? Maybe I'll just do a reflection on this one. Let's make it a little smaller, so you can see that reflection a little bit better. That would count as style. I did a reflection. Okay, and there's also this adjustments thing, and so when I say style, you have a lot of different options and a lot of different ways you could do it. Now, I'm not going to do any more of these. You're getting the idea, right? You have to build 10 slides. You have to change the backgrounds. You have to pop an image onto every slide. And then you also have to add some kind of styling to the image. And Mr. Arvin, what do you mean by styling? Well, borders count. Right? You could do borders if you want to. On all of these things, like on format options, except like size, rotation, position, that's not styling. Recolor is styling. Adjustments are styling. Drop shadows are styling. Reflection is styling. Alt text, nah, not really. But all of these things right here are different ways to style your image. When you get all done, you're going to have something that looks sort of like this, right? There's 10 of them. And they all have been styled one way or another. All right. When you get it all done, turn it in. And that, my friends, is the assignment. Off you go.